Hi guys, so we'll be doing the CSC 315 assignment. So I'll seed into my directory and you can see the question here. Okay, I think we have it here. So it says write a program to determine whether a year is a leap year or not. So if you're using VS Code like I am doing right now, so just install Clang format and also install this C++ extension, C or C++ extension. It will help you compile your C code and also format it properly. Alright, so let's get started. So the first question, which says write a program to determine where a year is a leap year or not. Okay, so this program, this particular question, I would solve it in two different ways: the easy method and the much more complex method, which is also still easy. And yes, so let's get started. So the first thing you want to do is um, don't worry. At the end of the code or the video, I'm going to put a link to my repo where you can see the entire code. Okay, so let's create a new file and call it one leap year one.c. Okay, so because we're writing a C program, we'll call it leap year one.c. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to write our include standard io dot h. Okay, so the standard io is a header, right, in which we have so many functions that have been declared in it, right? So we can easily use those functions. And what are functions? Functions are just piece of code that perform a particular thing, that does a particular thing. So for example, you need to um, you are sent to go to the market. So that message of you going to the market is like a function. So and inside a function, we can have several functions. For example, you want to get 10 items in the market. You could send your sister to get some things, like get some bowls or get some food stuff. You could send your brother to get some other things. So to make your work easier, so you could have different functions performing different things. One might be buying yam, the other is buying something else. Okay, so in C, the main function is where the program is being run. Okay, so the main function, and for this particular question, we're going to have an int main. So a function will have a name like this and a open and close parentheses like this. Okay, open and close braces. All right, so we'll have this and then we'll have this. Okay, so we have int main and we have this, right? So the main function is where, like, I want to go to the market right now. So this main function would execute the um, finding if a particular year is a leap year or not. Okay, so we'll declare it here. So let's first start with the simple method. Okay, so for the simple method now, sorry. So for the simple method, we'll say we'll create a variable. A variable is like a container where you save a particular item. So we want to create a variable that will save those year that would impute that, okay, we want to check if 2024 is a leap year or not. So we'll say the variable will be able to save numbers, integers. So we'll say int year. Okay, so we won't give it any declaration, we won't assign a value to that year. It's just like an empty basket called year that can save numbers. Okay, so that's what this one is. Okay, so the next thing is the user input, right? So we can say user input. This is a comment, so we could use this comment in C. We could also use, I think, something like this. Yes, so we could also use this one and call it user input. So to remove this one. All right, so this is a comment and it's not being run in your code. So the first thing you want to do is when the person run this program, it will first print to the person because we want this program to be interactive. We're going to use the printf and it's going to be in double quotes. So printf is a function that helps the person see a particular text, words, integers or numbers. It prints it out to the screen to the person to see. So we'll tell the person that, okay, a guy, enter a year. Okay, so that year would collect it from the person and we would use it. At the end of each function, we should end it with a semicolon like this. Okay, so in C, that semicolon is very important, very important. Okay, so scanf is a function that helps us collect whatever is being inputted from the standard input. Okay, so scanf also we use double quotes. Okay, and then it will end with semicolon, and they say what do we want to collect. We don't know what scanf wants to collect, but we know that it is a decimal because it's an integer that is being saved. So we'll say %d, %d. Okay, so we'll say %d, and we'll say comma, because we want to, whatever it's collecting, we want to save it in year. We'll type in year, but before the year, we'll put a normal and sign like this. Okay, so it's to make it save it properly. The and sign is not just there for fashion. It's there's a word for it. I can't remember. Okay, so but it's whenever you're using scanf, you have to put this and sign. Okay, to save it properly. All right. So the next thing is the leap year condition. Okay, so the leap year condition. All right. So the leap year condition now. Sorry. Okay, so how do we know if a year is a leap year? Look at it. Let's think about it. If we are in 2024, it means that the year actually starts from zero, and every 4 years is a leap year. So it means that whenever that year can be divided by 4, right, it is a leap year. So how do we do that? We then say if statement. We say if that year, okay, if that particular year divided by 4 will give us 0. So this is 4 modulo, the year modulo 4, meaning that the remainder after it has been divided by 4, if the remainder is 0, okay, so if it has been divided by 4 and the remainder is 0, then it is a leap year. Another condition is that for every 100 years, that every centuries are not leap year. So we'll put that condition and say, and if the year divided by 100 is not equal to 0, that is, with that year must not be able to, like 100, whenever 100 divides that year, it should remain something. Okay, so it's not equal to 0. So if these two conditions, then it's a leap year. Or we'll also have one more condition, or if the year modulo 400 is equal to 0, that is, it should be divisible by 400. Okay, so if it is not divisible by 400, then it is not. If it divides 400 and remains something, it means it's not a leap year. Okay, so if you can see we have an error here, is because this if is not wrapping the two conditions. So we'll wrap them like this and wrap it like this. Yes, I think that is fine. What is wrong again? Okay, good. All right, so the next thing is we'll put what should happen. So with this, the leap year condition, if it is divided by 4, if it is divided by 400 and not by 100, right, then it is a leap year. Then we'll print it to the person, print f that particular year, which is the year, we want to print the year for. So when we want to print year in using printf, we use this delimiter, right, %d, which is for decimal. We say the decimal is that is, the year is a leap year. Okay, so we'll say this one is a leap year, full stop. You can put a new line and then put a comma here, and we'll say this %d. What is %d? We'll say year. Okay, so that is, this year should be, whatever has been saved in year should be passed into this %d, and then we'll end it with a semicolon. Okay, so if that's not the case, then else, it means that it is not. So we'll just copy this one, command copy, and paste it here and say it is not, is not, is not a leap year. Okay, so at the end of the C program, if we say it is going to return something, it should return. So it's going to return an integer. When it returns return 0, it means no error occurred. Okay, so return 0, and I think that's all for that. So we are good to go for this program. So let us compile the program and run it. So we are in our terminal, and I'll just say GCC leap year 1, and the output should be called leap year 1, leap 1. So good, and then let us run our leap 1. It will say enter a year. I'd say 2024. 2024 is a leap year, so you say 2024 is a leap year, and that's all. Okay, and if you see, if we need to put 2023, it said 2023 is not a leap year. If we use, let's say, year 4, it says it's a leap year. Year 5, it's not a leap year. Year 6, it's not a leap year. Year 7, it's not a leap year. Year 8 would be what? A leap year. So that's how this program works. So let's talk about the second one, which I'll be showing you, which is a much more interactive one. Okay, so thank you for staying, and see you. Let's go. So for this one, we're going to create a new file. We call it leap year 2.c. Okay, so we'll do what we did before, include standard io.h. Okay, so for this one, we're going to have an helper function, okay, and the main function. So the first thing is, let's create the main function. Okay, good. So at the top of the main function, we create a function that checks the leap year. So we'll say void, because we are not returning anything. So we say check leap year. Okay. So any parameter, we could also put void here. Okay. We could also put void in this place, meaning that we are not passing any parameter. It's just a good way of coding. All right. If you don't put it, it won't. Nothing will still happen. It will still run. Okay. So so for void, we're saying we are not returning anything. So the first thing is that we're going to do what we did before, int here, and then we'll print to the person and say enter a year. So we'll say enter a year, put space, and sorry, end it with semicolon, and then we use scanf to receive it from the person, and then we say %d because it's an integer, and we'll put an ampersand, and we'll say and represents modulo sign rather, ampere, and then what's it called, year, right? So we'll say year, and that will be that, and then we'll go to the next line, put the condition if this time around, let me just put it straight, if the year is divisible by 4 and the remainder is 0, and also divisible by if year is modulo 100 is not equal to 0, okay, or if the modulo 400 is equals to 0. Okay, I think these are the major conditions for this, and then we'll put this, and then we'll say print f. In this case, it's going to print to the person. I think I copied the print. Let me just paste it. Yes, so it's going to print here is a leap year, right? So it's going to print is a leap year. Else, right? Else is going to print the year is not a leap year, right? And that's all. So this function would automatically run, telling the person, prompting the person to enter something, and then run. So we could call that function here, and make sure that whenever you're calling the function, it's always at the top of your main, so that your main could see where it has been declared. All right. So the next thing we're gonna do is, for this one, to make it more interactive, would use, let me use tab here, use character and say choice. Okay, so for this one, we're going to use a do while loop. Okay, a do while loop. Okay, good. So for the do while loop, we'll first check leap year. That's our function. We'll call that function. That is whenever we run this program, it will first run this check leap year. What will you do? It will say enter your name, enter your year, and then it will run this and try to see the year, if the year is a leap year or not. Okay, so at the end of the day, if it has detected that it's a leap year or not, we want it to be more interactive. Then after that, it will print whatever it is, if it's a leap year or not, and then it will continue by printing a message to you and say, do you want, so you could modernize your own question. Say, do you want to check another year? Okay, so you say, do you want to check another year? And then you prompt the person. You can put a yes or no, yes or no. Okay, and this, okay, yes or no, and then a space probably. All right, so and then that's fine. So we use scanf to receive whatever the person inputs. All right, so we use scanf, and then because it's a character, we use %c for character. And when you're using scanf for %c, you put a space first, and then you put your %c. Okay, that space is necessary. Then we say amper choice, right? So we want to save it in choice, whatever the person chooses. Okay, so that will be that, and then um, that's it. So then we'll do our while condition. We'll put our condition here. So the condition now would be, what would be the condition? If the choice is equal to y, or the choice is equal to capital letter Y. That is, if the person says, if you prompt the person, do you want to check under it, and the person say yes. The person say no, or what, press or enters any other character aside these two, you should just end the program. And what should we do? We should say print f and say program exited. Okay, so we say program exited, and then a new line, full stop, new line, and then end it with a semicolon, sorry, and then we can, because it's returning an int, so we'll say return 0, and that will be all. Okay, so let us run this program and see how it works. So ls, now we have our leap year 2, we'll gcc to compile it, gcc leap year 2 to see the output should be leap 2, and then run leap 2. Okay, you say enter a year, I say 2024. You say this is a leap year, do you want to check another year? If I say yes, it will say enter a year. If I say 2020, it's a leap year, do you want to say yes? I'll say yes. Enter a year. If I say 2023, you say this is not a leap year, do you want? If I say no, or let me just say no. For example, you say program exited, and there's that. If I want to run it again, say enter a year 5049, say it's not a leap year, do you want? If I put H, it's a program exited. So this is it. So you can tweak some of these things, some of this thing to make yours unique, and I'll see you in the next question.